morning, everyone. Here we are, Tuesday morning. I hope you're all keeping well. Our Gospel reading this morning is from John's Gospel, chapter 6, verses 30 to 35. So they said to Jesus, "What sign are you going to give us then, so that we may see it and believe you? What works are you performing? Our ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written, He gave them bread from heaven to eat." Then Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is that which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." They said to him, "Sir, give us this bread always." Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." It is highly likely that it's raining if you're listening to this on Tuesday morning in or anywhere near Owlsmore on the 28th of April. If, like me, you enjoy pottering around out in the garden, you'll know how desperate the garden is for this rain. It's so dry, and if we want our plants to flourish and do well, they need the rain, especially at the moment, to help them grow and flower. The water is essential. Jesus says in this message here in John 6, the first of his I am statements. If you don't know what they are, if you want a reminder, have a look through John's Gospel and find them. There's 7 of them, but today's we have the first of them. Jesus says, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never be hungry. He who believes in me shall never be thirsty." In John's Gospel, Jesus has already been teaching about the living water that quenches and about the bread that feeds. In John 4, there's that beautiful story of him meeting the woman at the well. And it's a long story, but it's a lovely story. And he promises her living water so that she will never ever thirst again. And a bit earlier in this chapter from John 6 is that lovely famous story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 people. He gives them just a few little barley loaves of 5 small little buns. They all feed, they all have enough to eat. And there's 12 baskets of food left over at the end. Jesus has already been talking about living waters and food, bread that they can eat, that they will never go hungry. Jesus is the bread of life, the bread of God who has come down from heaven and has come into the world. Maybe, like me, you're missing our times of communion together at the moment. There's something very special about coming together and sharing in bread and wine, sharing in Holy Communion. And I especially miss our Tuesday morning communions when we all stand together across the front of church to receive the bread and the wine. In Isaiah chapter 58, we can read of God's promise given through Isaiah. It says, "The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose water never fails." I was reminded of those words as I was thinking about these from John's Gospel today. Maybe like our gardens, you are feeling a bit dry and a bit weary and a bit thirsty. God promises us never-ending life in all its fullness, life-giving water. He promises if we come to Jesus, if we believe in him, then we will never need to be thirsty or hungry again. Like the 2 disciples that we were thinking about on Sunday who were on their journey to Emmaus. Their eyes and their hearts were opened to Jesus as they shared in bread and wine together. Maybe you want to take just a few moments together, maybe with a piece of bread and a glass of juice or a glass of wine. It's not the same as having communion together in church, but maybe you want to just sit quietly with some bread and wine. Ask God to reveal something of himself to you today. And as you eat some bread and drink some wine or some juice, just remember that Jesus can give us and be all that we need, that we don't need to hunger and thirst for anything else. Take care. Have a good day. And we'll see each other soon. God bless.